changing your entire life. It's high school, a public high school.
Yeah, no, I know. It's anything to get those eyes.
-1 on Cooper Flag there.
And my prediction was exactly what happened.
Getting hit by pitches 13 separate times.
Ooh, unlucky.
I was sitting there, I was talking to one of my friends, and he's like, are you going to open up and say that Ottawa 6-7? No.
Lots of sloppiness and lots of just like, are we kidding?
So we're talking Big 12 Player of the Week.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
See, that goes to show you how much I know about the NFL.
And they somehow let J.J. McCarthy pull that one back. You're listening to the Scoutin' Session on Blaze Radio.
So, big powerhouse of a school, and she goes to Hamilton High School, which is ranked number 2 in the country for girls flag football teams, which is kind of crazy. I had no idea. They completed their regular season 13-0, and they're the number 1 seed in the 6A division. She is only a sophomore, and both as a freshman and a sophomore, she was the number 1 quarterback in the state. Nationally, she was number 26 last year, and this year she's number 19. This year alone, she was named the Max Player of the Game 7 different times. In her first 4 games, she tallied under 1,200 total yards and 23 combined touchdowns in just 4 games. She led Hamilton to state last year, looking to do it again this year. I believe states are next weekend, going through the different rounds currently. She received an offer. This is why I wanted to talk about her specifically. Like, obviously, she has all these great stats. But what I thought was super cool is she's obviously a sophomore and you can't sign, but receiving an offer to play at a university for girls flag football is just, it's only been a sanctioned sport for 2 seasons. It's been since 2022, but only for 2 seasons. And the fact that she's getting an offer is super cool. And in Arizona, I don't think I listed this on here, but in Arizona too, they just announced for the next school year, there's 3 universities that are like here that are going to include girls flag football on there. I believe it's like Arizona Christian University, like smaller universities, not ASU or U of A, but that are going to offer girls flag football as like a college sport at their school. So it's super interesting. And at least 65 universities have women's flag football at the club or varsity level. So NCAA, NIAA, and JCAA, and more universities are being added to the list every year. Like, it's genuinely crazy. Like, I think the first year for flag football, at least in high schools, it was like 60 schools, and now it's close to the 200s. And so it's just insane. And over 35 of those 65 universities across the country that offer women's flag football are D1 universities. And obviously it's added to the 2028 Olympics. And it's just super cool. Like, obviously you can have a bunch of people start to play a sport, like, not to shame pickleball, but like, obviously there's that whole thing, but it's not like it is a new, like, gender specific, culture changing sport. Like, obviously there's lots of tennis courts that have been changed to pickleball courts, etc. But it's just super cool to not just see schools at it, but to see how quickly things are shifting at all levels. I talked to another girl at the state game, and she was like, oh yeah, my little sister's in middle school, and she was like inspired by the sister's friends that are playing in high school, and now her middle school has a girls flag football team, and that is just so cool to me to see that. And so yeah, she has that offer. It's a D2 university in Pennsylvania, Point Park University, but she's only a sophomore, and it'll be super interesting to see if she sticks with it. I know, like, since it is such a new sport, not many people have been playing it their whole lives and would commit to college for it. So it'd be super interesting in the next maybe 5 years-ish, as more people start to play it, like, for a while, to see, more of those commitments and stuff. But it'll be interesting to see where she goes, and that she's been the number 1 quarterback since her freshman year. So super cool story, and it's so amazing to dive into the world of girls flag football.
I'm actually really, really glad that, you brought in girls flag football, because, I mean, we've talked about it before, even all the way back to our Onward to Victory days. We've talked about girls flag football, and I just love, I grew up football, everything, right? That was football and hockey. Those are my 2 things, and as a girl, I never could have even thought about playing any version of football when I was younger. So now it's, like, awesome that not only are girls getting the recognition and having a state-sanctioned sport at the high school level, but also now girls can go and play flag football in college. Like, that is
it's crazy.
Unbelievable, and it's amazing, and I'm just so glad because, I mean, girls love football too. Girls play football too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a big sport, not only in girls. Boys play flag football all the time when they're getting their start in tackle football in the off season. One of my good friends, her cousin is a huge football player in the Tucson area, and he does flag football tournaments in the off season. Like, it's so essential for football, not just girls, but in general. So it's really cool to see that not only are we now seeing girls get offers to play flag football at the collegiate level, but that it's even recognized as a D1 sport at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
So that's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think my favorite part of the whole Marlie Phillips story is you went and talked about this at the very beginning, was the whole way you found this was because you're covering it as a beat. And, just strictly from the perspective of this opening the door for more storytelling at its core, because that's at the root of what we do. We're telling people stories. And to have flag football open up those doors to say, hey, this is a whole beat of people who have stories, who are incredibly talented athletes, and now have the opportunity to not only play at the college level, but I saw that you noted on there that it was added to the 2028 Olympics. And that is a big deal. That's a huge deal. I feel like the 2028 Olympics already have a lot of momentum because there are so many more new sports added, and that's going to add a lot more emphasis because, again, the world is evolving, the world is changing. We've talked about it a lot with baseball, with softball, with gender roles mixing in sports, and so to have flag football really take center stage with someone who is climbing the ranks, like just looking at the yards, and 23 combined touchdowns is insane for one player on any level of competition. So yeah, Phillips is killing it on the field, and we need stars because when you have those kinds of stars, it elevates the game, and you can talk about that more.
It's kind of going back to the whole women's baseball league thing too. If you have faces for these sports, like a face of the league, obviously this is college, but even then a face of the sport at when it's such a baby sport, trying to get it to grow and everything, it's so essential. I mean, we bring up the WNBA all the time, but like Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers, they're now faces of the WNBA, and people watch the WNBA games just because they've watched them in college and they've watched them develop, and now they want to keep watching them at the professional level. So I think that's super important to establish when a sport is so new in a sense.
I'll be really interested because I'm sure obviously there'll be lots of eyes in the 2028 Olympics, so hopefully there'll be like faces that come out of that, because I feel like there's so many sports that I don't watch, but I know like big names from them, at least on the global stage, because of the Olympics. So it'll be really interesting to see what stars come out of that. But on like the gender, this is like kind of like a side topic. Did you guys see that like Halo sports thing that like got everybody mad?
I did see that actually.
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
It was like this. So I think the actual company is Sky Sports.
Yeah.
And then they made like a women's like. There's plenty of women's, like, I'm a big fan of, like, The Gist. I really love the way that they cover sports, but, like, also put, like, a female touch on it, and I also like just the aesthetics of all of their stuff. But what they made, like, a separate, like, branch, and it was called Halo Sports, and it was basically, like, making it so that everything was, like, it was, like, talking about sports in, like, terms of, like, Labubu's, and, like, talking about sports with, like, pink font and, like, cute emojis and sparkles. And it's, like, everybody was, like, to the point, and it was such controversy to the point where they took down all of their stuff and made, like, a statement, like, oh, we were only trying to make it, like, inclusive for women. But it's, like, you don't have to make sports inclusive for women and make them understand sports by putting it in pink sparkly ribbon.
Yeah.
It lasted 3 days, just
that's
as
crazy.
A crash and burn effort,
Well, like,
essentially.
As you saying, there's plenty of media outlets that have like catered
Properly,
toward a women's audience.
yes.
Like, I'm a big fan of the Sports Girls Club.
Yes,
on, like,
that
Instagram
one too.
And stuff. They're super cutie, but it's also like, anyways.
Yeah, no, it was almost just like offensive, because it was like, oh, let me dumb this down and put like cute pink and sparkles on it so that women can understand sports when it's like, women have always loved sports, women always love football, baseball, all of that, and it's cool to see them play. But I was just wondering if anybody had seen that because it was all over my free page on TikTok this weekend. But yeah, it's crazy though. 3 days, like, it shows the power of people.
Use your voices, people.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to take over really quick because Noah has some pretty exciting news coming out of McLaren Racing today. But I'm highlighting a WHL player that I'm honestly surprised I haven't done yet, and it's probably because he plays for the Everett Silvertips of the WHL. But today on Hit the Ice, we have Carter Bear, who is a forward out in the Western Hockey League. Like I said, he plays for the Everett Silvertips, 2006 born this time. He's still younger than us, but he's 19 now, out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. He's a left wing and center, and he went 13th overall in the 2025 NHL draft to the Detroit Red Wings. Carter Bear, he's been tearing it up his whole junior career. He has played, I'm pretty sure, this is his third full season with the Everett Silvertips. He appeared in 56 games last season with Everett, and he had 40 goals, which was first on the team, 42 assists, which was fourth on the team, and 82 points, which was first on the team as well. He had a bunch of accolades last year, WHL, like all-star teams and everything and whatnot. And I also thought it was interesting to kind of tie in, not interesting, but I think this should get more attention. Carter Bear is a part of the Pegwees First Nation in Manitoba, which I feel like, there's a lot of history with Native people in this whole continent as a whole, and you don't see a lot of that representation. But it's actually really cool because I feel like we're getting more of that in the in the NHL and just hockey in general, especially of the people hailing from Canada. And you just see more and more of it every year. Just for some examples, Carter's cousin Ethan Bear also plays in the NHL. Huge names like TJ Oshie, Zach Whitecloud, like they're all from First Nations in Canada, highlighting, a kind of underrepresented group. And now you got, not to bring it up again, but Gavin McKenna is native, is a part of a First Nation in Yukon, in Whitehorse. So, and he's super proud of that. And there's been so many, pieces done on that. But so far this season, Carter Bear has 5 goals, 9 assists, and 14 total points. He was a NHL Top Player of the Week last week. Last year, when he led his team in points, he had 40 goals, 82 assists, and 40 goals, 42 assists, with 82 total points and 56 games played. So he's just been one of those guys that's been going around the WHL a lot, and he's been active for forever. Not forever, but like his whole junior career, he's been talked about as I brought up Landon DuPont on this show before. I think it was pretty early last season. They're teammates on Everett, so kind of both of those guys. He completed Detroit Red Wings training camp this season. I think he might have played in a game or two. Not quite sure if he was sent back to Everett before the season started. But super exciting to see. Everett's been a really, really good team every single year for a really, really long time. The Thunderbirds have lost to them in the first round. I cannot count how many times. But yeah, he's in a good place. He's in the place to be, and hopefully he can win. I'm not going to say a Memorial Cup because that would be putting down my Thunderbirds, but hopefully he can win something before his time is up in the WHL. So yeah, that's Carter Bear, and he's super, super fun to watch.
Yeah, I'll keep my comments quick, but it'll be interesting to see if he, it says he's draft eligible, so see if he goes for the... No, never mind.
He was drafted.
Was drafted. Okay, quit my comments next.
Well, that's okay. I'll just say that another another fantastic name coming. Like if I'm the commentator, bam, here comes the bear. I don't know, something dumb along that line. Anyways, racing roundtable time. Yes, yeah, lots of one. There we go. Okay. Anyways, today we're spotlighting the youngest Lucas Oil Formula Car Race Series champion on the Racing Roundtable, 11-year-old. Guys, this might be the youngest person we've ever spotlighted. Highlands Ranch, Colorado is where he hails from. His name is Cam Becker, and he's from the open wheel community. So that's 2 weeks in a row we're out there competing across Formula Fara, Rotax US Trophy Cup, and the SK USA Super Nationals, along with the Kid Kart Championships. Becker's 2025 Formula Tar title came after notching 6 victories and then finishing on the podium in 11 of his 15 races. Pretty impressive. And then his Formula Fara bid actually ended up with a trophy and the title of youngest ever race winner. And this one, hot off the press last week, Chip Ganassi Racing announced that this young driver will be the first member of the organization's all-new CGR driver development program starting next season. Cam will have access to Ganassi's facilities. Guys, I can't even stress this, the likes of which have produced 17 NTT IndyCar Series titles, more than 260 race wins, 6 Indianapolis 500 triumphs, a Daytona 500 champion, and 8 Rolex watches in the 24 hours of Daytona across 35 years of competition. Then a statement released by CGR, Becker said, quote, "My goal is to be an IndyCar winner. Just like the IndyCar drivers at Chip Ganassi Racing, I'm thankful to be involved with one of the best teams in the world, and I want to learn as much as I can." As for owner Chip Ganassi, his business mantra has been and continues to be, and this is one of my favorites, I like winners, which rings true, winning 5 of the last 7 IndyCar Series championships. Man, Ganassi has found another star in the making. However, guys, this star needs some time to develop. He cannot actually employ his full season scholarship that he's eligible for in the Lucas Oil Series to jump up to the USF 2000 program because he's below the age requirement by 4 whole years.
4 years is crazy.
So instead, he's going to start multiple open wheel races next year with the addition of testing some of Chip Ganassi's more high-powered equipment. But yeah, this is just, we're starting to see the racing world get hit with those really early development deals. I Googled it this morning. I was like, okay, well, what are some of the earliest? Because I could think of Tristan McKee getting signed at 14. And then little did I know that Ella Hakkinen was going to be signed this morning. Sorry, Jordan, I know I led you astray in the text, but because you said we had a McLaren talk. This is offset. There is some McLaren news.
She's still signed to McLaren.
She is still signed to McLaren. We might talk about that next week because that was some big news. 3 Ellas signed. So, Ella, I have to ask, did you get signed to a McLaren deal this week?
I get it now. Unfortunately, no. There's just a bajillion Ellas in the world. I cannot go anywhere without another one.
Okay.
But yeah, what do you guys think? 11 years old is insane to me.
That just means what? He was born in 2014?
Oh, my God.
Don't say that.
How old were
Wow,
we
that's
in
insane.
8? We were like 8 in 2014.
Wow.
Were you born in 2005?
I was born in 2006.
06, yeah.
Oh, okay, so we're all 06.
Yeah.
So we were like 8 years old, and this kid was just being born, and now he's open wheel racing.
Well, and the fact that also they're giving him this opportunity now, that he can't use for another 4 years. I feel like, obviously, I don't fully know the terms, conditions, whatnot, whatever. But I feel like that still just shows the amount of trust and amount of faith they have in him to be a star, to trust this 11-year-old with this future big prize.
And to be the first driver of that program, too, you essentially are the face of the driver development program at 11 years old, which
insane.
Is truly remarkable. And is honestly, I love seeing that because it encourages, I feel, the industry to take more chances, to see, hey, maybe this guy is the real deal.
Yeah, that is a major chance to take. All right, well, that's all for us today.
Yeah, that's insane. Anyways, sorry, I just got feedback on a story, so I was a little... but that is going to do it all today for the Scoutin' session here Monday. I'm Jordan Talley alongside
Ella Walter Sanchez.
And Noah Reed.
As always, we'll see you next week.